everyone, how's everyone doing? Hi, how are you? Just giving everybody a chance to get on and kind of join the live, everyone. So kind of like I just wanted to go on live today for you guys and give you a little bit of insight on short-term rentals and kind of the business side of it and how beneficial it is. So let's give everybody just a little bit of time to kind of get in. Oh, and this is my Yeti Sells Miami cup. It was made by my sister from iCraft Designs. She's very awesome. She made me this very cool cup. So kind of, I wanted to kind of do this today just because I wanted to make sure that I put out the word for some, different ways for people to generate income. The short-term rental business is very popular right now. It's something that a lot of people are getting into, and I would like to discuss it and kind of give you guys a little bit of information on it. I'm gonna have a special guest speaker today. His name is Orlando Miller, and he's going to be giving his experiences and insight on the business as well. For now, I just want to kind of tell you guys to go ahead and click that little button at the bottom right and send this out to everyone that you think might be, able to benefit from this or would like this information. Go ahead and do that and then come back and tell me you did that, so that way we can get more people to join and they can also take advantage of all this knowledge that I'm going to be putting out there for everyone. I just kind of wanted to maybe find out with you guys, where are you joining me from? If you guys would like to kind of tell me what city you guys are connecting from, and then kind of go from there. Let's see guys, where's everybody coming from? So, ooh, Sunrise. I like Sunrise. Hi, Sunrise. How are you? I'm hoping you're ready for some of this knowledge today. Let's give up. Guys, I'm very happy that you're joining our live. I just wanted to kind of get an insight from like where everybody's kind of joining in from and all that, so that we can get a bit of more information on where is everybody from. Mr. Orlando Miller down here, ready to join. So kind of I just wanted to maybe give you guys a little bit more information about me. I'm a real estate agent in South Florida, and I've been doing this for quite some time. I've been licensed for about 4 years. And I do residential and commercial sales and leasing. I also do property management for a lot of owners that are not in the position to be able to do this for themselves, as well as the short-term rentals. It's very important to contact someone that you trust in order to be able to get this business running successfully for you. It's something that has very well boomed, especially here in Miami. A lot of people are focusing on sharing their current space, or maybe just purchasing property to be able to do their short-term rentals from it. With the short-term rentals, there's a lot of different things that you need to know. There's a lot of pointers that you can kind of get from this live. And then at the same time, it's also stuff that you're going to learn along the way. As far as for myself, I've done short-term rentals in the past. I currently also do short-term rentals in some properties throughout South Florida. They're very beneficial. They generate a lot of income, and it's a very good way for you to be able to go ahead and I guess get the most from your property, as well as even if you do acquire a rental, you can try to find out if that community or if that owner would allow you to sublease. Through this, you can actually go ahead and short-term the property yourself and go ahead and create and generate this income from this property. Just as long as everybody's clear and everybody knows what you're trying to do, it's the best thing. That way you do not inquire any fines and you are free to go ahead and provide this property for your guests without any problem, and they can use all the amenities and everything that has to do with the property without a problem. They can access it anytime, in and out. Also, you have to remember that if you do live in a property where there is an association, you have to make sure with the association that this is something that is allowed. Just because if it's not allowed, you can get shut down and also get a fine. Also, you have to check with your local city and kind of see if there is any licensing that's required, as well as any taxes that you need to pay, because this is also something very important. You can also get a fine through that. So let me see what else with this. With this, I kind of just wanted to also bring up that you can do corporate housing. Corporate housing is very popular as well. It's basically just a space or an apartment or a house or a property that's fully furnished and has all the utilities running, and it is just literally ready just to all you have to do is just bring your toothbrush and you just get in there. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you guys if you guys have any questions. For sure, just feel free to reach out, send me your questions. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. I'm gonna go ahead and invite Orlando in here. Mr. Miller, let's give him a little minute to log in.
Hey Yeti, what is going on?
How are you?
I'm good. Been a busy day.
Awesome. That's good. Busy's always good. So I
Yeah.
just kind of wanted to let everyone know that, we kind of met a couple years back when you were down here in South Florida looking for some short-term rental properties where you kind of were wanting to acquire some. So if you kind of want to just give people a little bit more information of who you are, what you do, and how it's going for you so far.
Yeah, so let's dive in. So a lot of people don't know the back end story kind of behind, the whole entire short-term rental thing with me. I call it a mistake, but, to all the belief that people have out there, I don't think it was a mistake. So I actually took a trip to Miami for the first time and stayed at an Airbnb. I asked the girl, do you make money off this? Because I rented it for, $500 for 2 days. I felt like at the time it was a lot of money for me. So I said, how do you do it? She kind of explained to me how you do it. You just list the property on, these platforms, third-party platforms, and then you'll generate income. So I said, okay, cool. That sounds very, very simple. Never had an apartment in my life. I was living in my mom's basement at the time. And fast forward like a month later from that trip, I was like, I have to go get the property. So I did so. So I got the property on South Beach, not realizing that there's regulation, legality, all this information that you need to know. So I actually put it on Airbnb, and that night I had like $25,000 in booking requests and inquiries. So I was like, oh wow, I was like, this is a way out. This is definitely something that I can do that's lucrative, but I wasn't educated enough on more so the whole short-term rental side of things. So moving forward from there, for a whole year, I didn't do much with it. I didn't know you could get more properties. So I started educating myself, and then I learned a little bit more about it. And then now I was like, okay, let me scale in on this. So I got another apartment and did it the right way, got my licensing, my business and all that good stuff. And then from there, went to another city, got my first house, and then another apartment, and did corporate housing and all that stuff, and then scaled into, mansions and all that good stuff. So it's been great. It's been great to me. I think, a lot of people don't know how this works. It's arbitrage. A lot of people believe and think that you need to get, buy a house. You don't have to buy a house when it comes to this. You can arbitrage all this stuff out. And what does that mean? Arbitrage is simply you using and you're utilizing someone else's property to, rent it out to somebody else. That's all it is. So for all the people out there, you don't have to own a property. Yes, it's lucrative for you to own it, but it's very, very simple for you to get involved in this space without owning the property. So I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Do we have any questions in here?
And then with you guys, acquiring the short-term rental leases, like the
Yeah,
subleasing, that's also something that was in your what you were looking for back then.
yeah.
As far as the properties that you have now, you guys have properties throughout. You have in Florida. You have where else? Kind of did you also
Philly,
have some?
Z, Texas.
And you
Yeah,
guys, another thing that I kind of wanted to find out with you, and maybe if you can just explain to us, was how you prepare these properties. And then let's say, for example, the ones that are not furnished when you rent them out or when you lease them, how is it that you go about furnishing them and then
yeah,
taking care of them with the securities and all that? Because a lot of people, they are a little bit skeptical about using their property for short term because they feel like the property is going to get too much use and that
yeah,
the guests are going to destroy it. But basically just like how we've discussed in the past, and I've had a lot of business and properties with you where the properties are very well taken care of and the
yeah.
people spend minimal time in these properties because they come here either for work or for just to enjoy the city. And it's kind of like that's like a stigma that a lot of people have.
Yeah, it is. It is, and I think that a lot of people that with that stigma is just because they're the people that are actually doing the short-term rentals. They're not taking the right precautions and procedures to get the right people or attract the right individuals into their homes. In the beginning, when I first started, I was having like parties and damages and all this crazy stuff that was very unfortunate at the time. But then I started, figuring out how I can X all that stuff out. And then now I don't have those problems. I don't have parties. I don't have any of that. And a lot of times homeowners kind of shy away. Like, oh, like it's gonna, mess it up and all that stuff. Now I always compare like Miami, for instance. A lot of the times, people rent a house here or apartment or condo. 9 times out of 10, they're not really in the house. They're out to eat, at a bar, club somewhere. They're spending minimal time on the inside of the property. And more so, their stuff is just in there, and that's it. Maybe a nice view, but other than that, I mean, not a lot of wear and tear on the house, and always that homeowners know that. As far as staging and stuff like that, that's a great question. We kind of like to do things fresh, slate. A lot of the times when there is something furnished, it's not to the liking, and I think the best way to stand out in this space is actually to really polish the place and put it up to rent on your like standard. You know what I mean? Like how you want it to be. Because a lot of the times people have like random furniture in there. It could be like
Yes,
a bed, couch, and
it
all that
doesn't
stuff.
really like go, and you have to kind of
Yeah,
make it comfortable for them. I see a
yeah,
lot of the
especially when it
places
comes to
that
like
you
the
have.
presentation too. Presentation for just photos, right? I think the photos are the most important thing when it comes to marketing online or to just your inner network as well. I think first impressions everything. So I think that's how you win in this space. That's why I don't really like to acquire furnished places. And if I do, I will add a couple touches on the interior and add my own things to make it look a little bit better. And then from there, we'll try to, run it up a little bit better. But that's kind of how I do the furnishing thing.
Another thing that I kind of noticed with you guys and the properties that you have is kind of like this color scheme that you guys use. It's very like bright colors and very light.
Yeah,
They
we try
kind
to
of
go
work.
modern,
Yes,
more
very
modern look.
modern.
Yeah, we try to go for more of the modern look. A lot of colors I do use are just like gray, whites, and blues. If anyone's ever seen my houses, they're majority like gray, white, and blue. Nothing crazy. Yeah, we'll throw like accent things in there to brighten it up for photos. Like throw pillows, throw blankets, and all that good stuff. But majority of it is entirely just like gray, whites, blues. Just really minimalistic. I don't like to add too much stuff, but the modern it is, the better it is, honestly. And that's
And
how we
kind of
do it.
like with your experience, Orlando, what do you think is like a 100% absolute must-have? Do you have maybe like your top five or top three that you can kind of like let everybody know the must-haves that you should like always have in provided in your short-term rental? I
Well,
just
yeah.
heard.
So I'm trying because it's like there's a lot that you do need that are like very very important. But for me, I think the most important parts are like how simple is your check-in process, right? You get graded on all that stuff, and I think it's in the beginning I was like using lock boxes and all that stuff, and honestly, even real estate agents still use lock boxes.
Mhm.
So what was happening when I was using these lock boxes? Guests weren't putting it back. Okay, and that was
Or losing
causing
keys.
that was causing a problem
Yeah.
with turnovers. So I think it's most important that you have the right check-in process, the right locks at your property, and then the right cameras at the property so you can oversee everything. But yeah, the check-in process you're graded on, and let's say there's a turnover, your team gets there to handle things and clean things up, and keys aren't there, and then you got to get a new key and figure all that stuff out. That just messes up with timing and all that stuff. So I think it's most important for everybody to just stay on their p's and q's and have everything perfect as possible.
Exactly. And then how, as far as like rules and stuff like that, do you guys have like a set of rules that you kind of like put people through before they kind of come into any of your properties? Like, for example, noise levels or smoking inside or outside,
Yeah.
designated areas.
Yeah, so yeah, no smoking. Noise is really cut off from pretty much 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. I don't now, like I said before, I used to have a lot of problems, but I get a lot of families. I don't really get because we cater more toward houses now, so the majority of it is like 16 guests or 20 guests, but a lot of times it's families, and we don't really have any issues at all. So, which I'm thankful for. But yeah.
And now with the COVID situation, do you see like maybe more of people kind of leaning more towards the houses instead of the condos and apartments?
Um, I think kind of the difference between houses and apartments. Houses cater more toward groups, so a lot of the time it's like bachelor parties, bachelorette, anywhere between like just like big groups. It has to be big groups, and a lot of the times, even if it is a lot of money for them to pay for it, it's divided up between a lot of people. But yeah, majority of the time, you won't get like maybe like one or two people staying in a really really large house that sleeps. Let's say like 10 to 15 individuals. Apartments cater more toward the work field or individuals that are just coming in for a short period of time. Especially you brought up corporate housing. A lot of the times with corporate housing, a lot of people get a lot of contracts. I know in Dallas, with the properties there. They have a lot of contracts with, the Fortune 500 companies there, like AT&T's, like downtown and all this stuff, Verizon and all that good stuff. So a lot of the times they have like their sales trainings and all that stuff with new hires. So they place them in these like short-term rentals with the corporate housing and all that good stuff. So that's more catered to like very, very, short period of time, business savvy stuff and things like that. Miami's a little bit different because it's Miami, it's very vacation vibe, but the corporate houses and condos, that's kind of what it caters to more. Houses are.
Right now, as a matter of fact, we're having a lot of attention and people wanting to relocate. So they're coming to Miami, spending a couple months here, trying to feel out
Yeah.
the city, kind of see where they want to live or where they want to work, and or people that are actually being relocated from work. So there's also people that are temporarily working here, like for example, some of the healthcare workers are stationed here for temporary work. And then another thing that I wanted to kind of bring up with you, have you
Yeah.
run into a lot of like let's say restrictions with COVID as far as like let's say for example using the pool, using the gym, because like when you do short-term rentals and you provide a property for this business, you want to make sure that your guests are comfortable and that they're able to use
Yeah.
these and they're able to be comfortable, because nobody wants to be in a place where, let's say for example, oh, your guests are not allowed to use the pool. That's very
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. And
People,
there are certain restrictions now. Houses more so are kind of like to your own standards on how you want to do things. Yeah, you can have your procedures to like have the pool guys come or whatever that may be after every reservation. But for apartment buildings, when it comes to these corporate deals and stuff like that, corporate housing, the building will have their own set of rules, and we have to abide by those rules. So let's say it's severe again, like it was last year. They're gonna have the rules of a minimum stay, maybe, or maybe they even may cut it out for a certain period of time. which I know happened to a lot of, short-term rental companies. They had to cut their leases and leave completely due to the fact of that. And obviously, as a business owner, you want to make the right business choices, and you're going to be losing money on that end of things. But a lot of the times, yeah, you do want to abide by the building's rules. But as far as it being your own personal house, there's really no rules and regulations unless there is rules and regulations with the city.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes the city will enforce no short-term rentals for X amount of time in that particular city. So I think that's most important when it comes to COVID, that you know your city's rules and how long that's going to be put in place and in effect. Because if code enforcement does come to the house, what's going to happen is you're going to get penalized. It's like, hey, you can't rent right now. So that's kind of the situation.
Another thing that you kind of ran into when we first met was
Yep.
the amount of deposits that these owners ask for in order to allow different individuals to sublease. And then, the good thing about your company is that you already had experience and you had your good
Yeah,
references. So references are they're like gold, because they
makes it much easier.
ensure and they give out information you or with any individual wanting.
Are you there?
Oh, guys.
All right, yeah, there we go. The connection was like cutting off.
Are you
I
good?
didn't
Are you
hear a
back?
word you said. So what were you saying?
No, I was trying to bring up the fact that what these landlords and owners are
Yeah,
kind of asking of you, and then how you can kind of come back at them and just show them referrals and show them references, show
yeah,
them past business that you've done, some of your active properties that you have throughout.
yeah. Yeah. Also, it does vary per state too, depending on how many deposits. So, like in certain cities, there'll be security deposit in first months. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's first, last security, or they want an extra security as well, just because they're very, very skeptical. But I tell a lot of my students this because I train this. I say you need to educate them as much as possible to eliminate all of the skepticism in this space, because a lot of people aren't educated. They don't know that you may see articles and stuff like this on the news that something happened with Airbnb, or there was a fight, or there was a big party. But there's ways, like I said, to eliminate that stuff. So I think that's very, very important to just really educate them on how you can do so you don't run into these barriers. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's very,
Exactly.
very important.
And then also throughout the years, you don't only use, like, let's say there's different platforms for this
Yeah,
short-term rentals. You also have like your private clients that just come to you as like just straight up to you because they know
yeah,
that
all the
you're
time. Yeah,
in your places.
yeah. That's a great question there. So a lot of people think it's mainly like, oh, Airbnb, VRBO, all that good stuff. So keep in mind, it's very, very good to network and communicate with your guests, get into their network, and then also like knowing people, like tap into your network, because you can rent out to multiple people. I've rented out to artists, NFL athletes, tons and tons of people. So it's very, very important for you to build that clientele on your end and actively let them know. Say, hey, look, we have a property here, we have a property there, we have a property here. So what they're gonna do is that people are gonna start contacting you for properties in these areas. And not only that, what you can do is, let's say you don't have properties in this one area, you can always reach out to a host in another area and say, hey, can you house somebody for me? And then do it that
Awesome.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people
I
don't do
didn't
that. You
even
just
think
have to be
about
very
that.
resourceful. You have to be resourceful as possible in this space. But yeah, you can. I rent out a lot of the times like off market deals. Like I don't have. It's not always on Airbnb, VRBO. It's not always like that. So that's the cool thing about this.
Yeah, you
So I
kind
think
of
it's very
create like
important.
your own little network of like people
Yeah,
that
yeah. And
That's
the word
great.
gets around quick, you know, like people will start telling their friends, and then it's like I got people calling me. I'm like, oh, someone told me that you had a place here. Like, can you do something for me? And then we kind of, solidify a deal there. So I think that's most important.
I feel like the
Network.
networking aspect of the short-term rental business world, it's very beneficial to everyone just because it brings a
Yeah.
lot of business into the city, but at the same time, for the host and for the owner of this property, it's giving them a lot of attention. For example, I'm a real estate agent. Orlando rented a property from, I represented him in the transaction. This property had been on the market for over 2 years. It had been on the market for sale. Orlando came, took the property, furnished it, put it up on all his sites, had people coming in there. It was a waterfront property. It was gorgeous, fully remodeled, and those people ended up getting a contract to sell, like to buy in about, what was it, 4 months? You had that property?
Yeah, I think it was no. Actually, it was I had that property for like 9. But the funny thing is that you mentioned it. We actually got told no. We was like, no, we can't do it. But I let them know what we can do for them. That's why I talk about like
Exactly.
add value for those homeowners that had their properties on the market for so long. Add value, and I pretty much let them know like, hey, we want to make an investment into your property to furnish it out and always make people feel because when they're walking into the house, if they're showing the house, it's for sale, it's empty. No one's gonna know what it feels like to live in that house, right?
Exactly.
So when they're in that house, they're like, oh, okay, like this is just, a blank house, right? But if you go in and it's like staged out nicely, it looks great, then they kind of have a feeling what it feels like it's going to live there. So I think that's most important. Same thing when you go to apartment buildings, they show you the empty one, and it's like, okay, now let me show you the model, and then you see the model, you're like, oh wow, I love this. You know what I mean? So that's how that deal got closed. But it's funny, they wanted to purchase the house with some of the furniture as well when it
That
sold.
furniture was nice. I
Yeah,
remember.
I was like, no, I have to put it in the next unit.
I wanted that
But
painting you guys had in the living room. That thing was nice.
I still have it. I still have it.
That
It's
thing was
actually
nice.
right next to me. It's on
I
this side of
remember.
me.
I remember you telling me, "Oh man, Yadi, we have to go back on the market to get something else. They got a contract. They're selling this house." And the realtor was so excited and so happy. And I knew that that was going to happen because I knew that when you got in there and you furnished it and people were able to see it furnished and what it looked like, and plus, once a person grabs a hold of these properties and you're out there marketing them, you're marketing the area, you're marketing the address, you're marketing the building, you're marketing everything, you're
Hmm.
furnishing it. This gives it a lot of attention. If the property is for sale, like literally that thing is gonna go because, and not
Yeah,
even
it's gonna
that,
go
it's gonna
fairly
go to your
quickly.
network.
Yeah, it's gonna go fairly quick. And I had a couple of buddies that are actually in this market here in Miami, and that's what happened. They start marketing to their clients, and then someone else finds out about it, and then next thing you know, it sells. But prior, it didn't sell for like 2 years, 3 years, or a year. Some of these properties that we grabbed. So, that comes with the territory. So you gotta constantly keep moving and just grabbing as many units as possible. So.
Do you have like any advice that you would give to someone, like let's say for example, someone that wants is thinking, oh, okay, maybe I'm going on vacation a couple times this year. I might
Yeah.
be able to like maybe lock my room. You can also do something like that and then maybe rent out the rest of the house or keep a closet locked for the owners
Yeah.
and then, kind of. Do you feel like that's something that would benefit someone?
Yeah, definitely. It's house hacking, really. You live technically rent free, and a lot of people may say, "Hey, oh, your stuff is in there." I don't. My first Airbnb I ever was in, I thought it was weird as hell because I went in there and there was like diplomas on the wall, like their stuff was in there. But that's how Airbnb started. Like that's how it was. Like you were staying in somebody's house with their belongings. But now they kind of restricted it. Well, not restricted it more so, but the short-term rental companies like myself, they came in and set it up designated for just that. So it's not technically just somebody's house. But you can definitely house hack with renting your place out. You can literally, make profit and pay for your entire place. You know what I mean? And live there. It probably may take like 2 or 3 bookings to make your rent. But I definitely, it's definitely a great thing to do if you're ever going on vacation or traveling out of the city or state. Just throw it up for rent. you know?
Exactly. And how do you feel about sharing, like space sharing? Like, let's say you just want to offer your house for like these people that come in and out of the state for like work or whatever the case is,
Yeah.
and then they
If it's
offer
like a
like,
2 bedroom or something like that,
yeah,
like
like
renting
let's
out
say
the
it's
room.
a 5 bedroom house, the owners in one bedroom, and then they just share all, like they share the kitchen, they share some of the bathrooms, the maybe the backyard, the front yard, the internet. I mean, you have
Yeah.
all your utilities paid for. The only thing you really have to worry about is your whatever you pay for your booking. So it's kind of like a lot of people are also kind of doing things like that, like sharing their space.
Yeah, a lot of people do the home sharing thing a ton, like a lot of people, and I think it's very very lucrative because the same thing, you're gonna pay for your mortgage or your rent and make profit at the same time, so it's definitely beneficial to you if you do that. And like I said, that this is how it started out. A lot of people were, what they do is, if you are staying in their home, that host will help you out with going to the restaurants or even go out to the restaurants with you or show you around and stuff like that. That's what it was all about in the beginning. So I mean,
Exactly. That's
definitely
a good
beneficial.
point also as well, because a lot of these people don't have never been in whatever city it is that they end up in these Airbnbs, and for you
Yeah,
to be able to offer them all these other, restaurants or jet ski rentals, or like let's say if they want to go on a tour or if they want to do anything that there is hip to do in the city, that's also something that I believe is very important. So for you, Orlando, how successful do you think that you have been in this business? Kind of why did you get into it? And then what do you think about the Miami market right now?
um, I got into it like I said, it was kind of like I fell into it. I wasn't actively looking. I just heard it was like, oh, you can make money off this, so it made sense. If it makes sense to me, I'm doing it. Like that's it. No, nothing else. But as far as the Miami market, I think it's probably one of the most lucrative markets to be in. A lot of people don't understand that. Like you can make so much money. I talked to my buddy earlier today. He told me that for Passover, one of his friends rented his house out for 10 nights, $100,000.
Wow,
10 nights, a
that
hundred
is
thousand dollars. That's six figures. That's literally insane. And keep in mind that 100K isn't gonna be always that kind of reservation per night. It was Passover, but $100,000 in 10 days on a house. I mean, you know what I mean? You can't lose on that. But Miami market is definitely lucrative. I will say right now there is a shortage. I believe there was over 200 and something thousand homes that sold since last March. So there is a shortage. But if you can get into this market, do so as fast as possible. Just because you're gonna make money, it's a lucrative market. And keep in mind, for all the people that are watching, a lot of people are, oh, how was COVID like doing this to the business? Also, keep in mind, a lot of people have been locked away for some time. A lot of cities are still going through lockdowns. So the travel is going to be so strong. I don't think there's even going to be like a slow season in any city or state when everything's opened up because a lot of people need to get out and they want to get out. You know what I mean? So I think
exactly.
that's kind of what we're going to have. And I think right now that I think this is a fact, because I'm having trouble placing people places. Um, there's I can't like the house. There's nothing for rent right now. Like everything's booked up. Like
Yeah, no, the
if you go
short-term
and try to
rentals
look
are.
something, like you're not gonna find anything. You will like you have to stay at a hotel. That's it. So that's kind of what I think about the Miami market. It's great. Things are booming here.
That's awesome. I have a lot of people that have approached me with wanting to start their short-term rental business. Also,
Yeah.
I do know that another profitable incentive to be able to offer to these owners is when you do the management for them, as well as the short-term renting, or
Yeah.
when you share a portion of the profits, which is something enticing. Do you want to kind of like let people know about that?
Yeah, you can. Now, it depends what route you want to take. Like real estate overall is multiple different routes. Uh, as far as like kind of, the management thing, you kind of have to be a broker to do that and like legally. But, I let them know for marketing purposes, if you would like to, post it up and, put it in your inner network and see what you can get from that property and split profits. Simple. split
Exactly.
profits with that
So kind of
homeowner,
like a
and
percentage, and then for
yeah, and
like
I
another
tell people like if
10%.
you're gonna do this, I don't care where you live. You can live in Alaska and do this, somewhere else. You know what I mean? And I always tell people to look for bigger properties. The margins are just way bigger. Like you're gonna make a lot of money. I wouldn't try to do this on an apartment or townhouse. Go for the biggest house in that city and see what you can do. And if
And
it's for
kind of
sale, if furnished, go for it.
when you go into the city and like let's say for example you're gonna go and choose where it is that you want to acquire these properties. What is it that you look for in order to be able to decide, hey, this area is where I'm gonna go for, or like this other area, let's not focus too much on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, convenience. Convenience. I think everything has to be super convenient for that individual is that it's coming. You have to think on like the consumer standpoint, like why are they coming here? One. Number two, where is it near? Like is it near X, Y, and Z, like where they want to be? You know what I mean? Kind of like in that triangle state, the house is in the middle and then there's something here, here, and then on this side. So like if you're in the middle, you're good because you're 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, and then 10 minutes that way to the airport. If so, so I think it's most important convenience. And if you are, for the people that are watching, if you are looking to get a short-term rental in a kind of rural area, all that stuff really comes down to like branding. Let's say if it's like container homes, log cabins, it has to have some sort of like uniqueness to it, or more so just Instagrammable, something cool. And that's why people will stay. But if you're like in a kind of normal area or like very vacationed area, it needs to be kind of in a area where it's most convenient. Because if you're let's say Miami and you have some property like way far out, like way far out, not even near Fort Lauderdale or near the other stuff, like why is it convenient? No one wants to stay that far out. Even the people that want to be in Miami so bad, they don't even want to stay in Fort Lauderdale because like, hey, it's like a 20-minute drive. We want to be near South Beach. So
Exactly.
it's all about the convenience.
Okay, cool. So then, all right, guys. Well, I just wanted to kind of get more or less. Do you have Do you have any questions from anyone that you kind of wanted to answer on here?
I mean, if people want to ask questions, most definitely ask them right now.
For the
But if
most
not,
part, I kind of like have brought up a lot of the questions that I've been getting throughout. Because the reason why I do the lives is because I have people that call me and they keep me on the phone for about 45
yeah.
minutes talking about different, aspects of real estate. So the short-term rental business has been brought up to me a lot of times, and I spent quite a while explaining it and talking about it to different people. So I've got all these questions that they've had, and I kind of put them into, incorporated them into this live. So that's why I wanted to kind of see if maybe you knew any, or if anybody like on your end had any questions, we can kind of get those out. And then,
Um, I don't have nothing really. I don't have, anything that people really ask me too much. But I will say for anybody that is looking to get in, and I do see like comments like people will say, "Oh, it's you can't do it, or it's illegal, or this and that, or they won't allow it." Don't listen to that stuff. Educate yourself before assuming, and educate yourself on that particular market, what the rules and regulations are, and what you can do to get into that market. Because like I said in the beginning, I started out, didn't know anything. I didn't even know there was $25,000 fines that can get literally slapped to the homeowner for you Airbnb. And I didn't know anything. I was 22 at the time. I was like, hey, I got an apartment here and I'm renting it out. But yeah, education is very very important when it comes to this, and get in like now as soon as possible because you'll make a lot of money in it, a lot of money, especially with the houses. Yeti knows. So
you know what's funny? At the same time that we're here talking about this, I am getting all the inquiries on Airbnb. Hey, is your place available? I'm coming with my husband. Do you have anything? Do you have anything else? And yes, it's true what you're telling me about the shortage of inventory, because I do have clients as well that come to Miami every year. And some of them stay here for, let's say, for training. These guys are athletes, I have people that come here for work. I
Yeah.
have people that come here for different things. And some of them I had quite a hard time placing in a short-term rental just because
Yeah,
of the
it's
shortage
tough.
that we have right now.
It's tough. Yeah, it's very very hard right now. Like I got people with like very large budgets. You know, they can pay like 10K a day and
Mhm.
really can't get anything. You know, it's very very tough right now. And if you do want something, it's gonna be a little bit further out. But people want it like now, like this month, like April, May, June, July. You know, it's tough. But yeah, there's definitely a shortage. But I hope everybody liked this live. It's definitely informative for sure. If anybody has other questions, definitely just DM me or Yeti, and we'll go from there.
Cool. And then for the most part, when you do your trainings and your classes, you kind of offer those through what? Through also through your Instagram and
Yeah,
stuff?
through Instagram. Yeah, a lot of the stuff they they DM me. We kind of go through a 4 week training on pretty much A through Z, like property research, all that good stuff, how to lock up a deal, different methods on how you can get a deal, and all that good stuff. So it's definitely good. Training. Honestly, I wish I I wish I knew what I knew now back then.
I know, right?
I wish I could like rewind time and like know what I know now, and I could just like implant it in my head and move a million times faster.
And
But
the good
yeah,
thing is, I like the way that you educate people and you kind of like let them know, hey, look, throughout the years of me doing this, I've come across this, I've come across that. This works, this doesn't work. You kind of have your own system of how things work. Because I remember
yeah,
when I started working with you, I was like, no, let's do this. And you're like, no, it doesn't work like that. We need to do this.
yeah.
And we need
Most
to do
agents
here.
like even the ways I tell them on how you need to approach homeowners because there's a certain way you have to do it. Like even
Yeah, because
keywords, I
they
tell my
can get
students
turned
this like
off quickly.
wording is most important when it comes to communicating with someone else. And I tell them like, hey, don't say this, don't say that. Make sure you do it in person and like all this stuff. Don't try to do it over the phone. Like there's tons of different ways, and this just came literally from my mistakes, trial and error, and that's with anything. You know, a lot of people are gonna learn from their mistakes, and that's what I did. So I teach people how to skip all those mistakes so you can like run way faster than I am and surpass me. You know, that's the
Exactly.
goal that
How
I
many
have for
students
everybody.
have you trained so far? How many people have
Like
you trained?
over 200, over 200.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I have been getting a lot of your students contacting me for help with these short-term
Oh
rentals.
yeah,
Guys,
I
so
contacted them today. Yeah, they
yeah, guys, you guys can come
definitely
to me.
excited for
I
them to
have
get
the
things rolling.
properties. They're out there. For sure, you know how I am. I like to work with clients, and as long as I'm able to help, I'm gonna go above and beyond to try and like make it happen, regardless
Yeah,
of
yeah,
what
you
it is.
do. Yeah. You definitely don't want to work. So yeah, most
So,
definitely.
guys, if you're not able to purchase a property on your own to be able to do this business, you can also rent it out from someone and do this business. You just have to do it the right way. Just like Orlando said, make sure with the owners if this is something that's allowed, make sure with the association. If it's allowed, it's a go. It's something that is, it's gonna make you a lot of money. It's great income, and it's not for
Yeah,
everybody as well. Not everybody can do this, but you do have to be very available to your guests because they can run into different things, and these issues have to be resolved.
oh, fairly quickly. Because I think that it's a hospitality business too. People don't even know that. Like, they don't understand. It's a hospitality business. You need to take care of things so fast. You know what I mean? Like if you're staying at a hotel and they didn't bring up the towels, it's been like 3 hours. Like where the hell are the towels? Same exact thing. You want to be hospitable and take care of the people that are staying there because you're graded on all that stuff. And if you're graded bad, then you get demonetized and then you don't get bookings. So
Exactly.
there's a
It's
whole thing. I can go
that
on for hours about this, but yeah. But for all the people watching, definitely contact Yadi if you're looking for something in the Miami market. And
yeah.
best of
Okay.
luck.
All right. Well, Orlando, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your knowledge with everyone through your busy day. I know you have your guests to get back to, but
Oh
it's
yeah, no,
been
that's all
great.
handled. Yeah, I don't even deal with it too much, but Well,
All right, well,
definitely.
it's good to see you. Hopefully we can see each other soon, and then maybe we will catch up on another live some other time. But thank you so much
For
for
sure.
like coming on here and
Absolutely.
clarifying all this for everybody.
Absolutely. Take care.
Oh, well, he logged off. Well, guys, I'm very happy that I was able to, to get this done for you guys. If you guys, for sure, if you have any questions or if you guys have any input or if you guys want to communicate anything to me, you can go ahead and DM me on here, or if not, you can send me an email. My email is yatimolinarealtor@gmail.com. You can go ahead and send anything there as well. And then, till next time, bye. Are you sure you want to end your live video?